Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you. I may have to fight somebody in a few minutes because these people at my apartment complex are playing games with me. They have yet to fix my AC right. Now, y'all know I'm located in Tempe, Arizona. Yes, I said Tempe, Arizona. It gets up to 125 degrees here. Right now, it is 101 outside on this Monday afternoon, and I swear for Lord, man, hey, man, it's no. These fans ain't cutting it. I don't care. I don't know how this dry heat works until now without AC. Lord have mercy. I am sweating bullets in here. Man, I'm sweating more than I do at a basketball game. I'm sweating more than I do in football with fully pads. It makes no daggone sense. My drawers are drenched. Yes. Whew, I swear I'm about to go up in this office and act a fool. I promise you. But anyway, I got a show to do. Let me do this first, and then I could go shack a fool later. Trademarked by Shaquille O'Neal. Don't use that. Anyway, today on this show, we will be interviewing a good friend of mine. He is the general manager / owner of the team Midway Marauders out of Chicago. I used to play for them back in Chicago. I was a wide receiver. I still am. I just play for the Arizona Spartans as of now. We're going to talk about how he came up to become a GM and owner of his own team, how he devised a way to structure his defense, because he's also a defensive coordinator, on what he would look for in players and what we would look for from different teams and how they won championships and how he could use some of their defensive schemes to work against them. You know, the whole 9 yards with sports. Y'all know how it goes. If you don't know how sports goes, you're about to know today. He's a very intellectual individual. He is a very charismatic. He says, fuck your feelings. We say fuck your feelings a lot, due to the fact that the Midway Marauders have been underdogs for 5+ years. As long as I've known them, they've probably been around longer than that by now. It's probably been almost 10 years, but as far as I've known, it's 5+ years. I remember last year and the year before, I played 3 years ago for them because I moved to Arizona 2 years ago. They made shirts, and I remember their highlight video, like their preseason video, their hype video. They were doing a specific like reel of the coaches, and somebody did a reel of Chris standing on the football field before one of their games, and on the back of his shirt it said fuck your team. And I remember in another hype video that they had the Southern Blue Devils jersey, and they threw it on the ground before the game. This is before the game. The Blue Devils are on the other side. They threw the jersey down, stomped on it, and yelled, fuck your team, straight to their face. When I mean this team was relentless and still is, this team is relentless, and you would love them for their charismatic, their underdog story, how they had to fight for everything. Now they got their own stadium for indoor football league at Bloomington, Illinois, where the Bloomington Edge used to play. Or, yeah, they stopped franchise. So, yeah, they play there now, the Midway Marauders, how Chris came up from being a player to learning the game to owning his own team and taking off with his friend Ivan Porter and Tremaine Cheers. Man, when I mean this is a great story, y'all are going to love this story. And just in about a few minutes, I'm going to call him. Matter of fact, it's about that time right now, so don't fret, don't chat. I'm going to go ahead and call this man right here, and we'll be right back. And we're back. I hope you like that little interlude I threw in there. That's from the DJ Aireloosh. Go ahead and subscribe to him on SoundCloud, Aireloosh, and on Instagram at Aireloosh. It's all the same, spelled the same. Don't try to overthink it, man. All right, I got my friend on the line, Chris, right now. Say what's up to the people real quick.
Hey, how y'all doing? Chris Matthews on the line.
All right, Chris, this is how we going to do this right here. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You're going to answer them like it's an interview, but this ain't no typical interview. I may throw a couple truth or dares in there. I may throw a couple would you rathers. You never know what's going to happen on this podcast. So you got to be ready. You got to be armed. You got to have your arsenal with you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I see what I can do, man. I got you.
All right, we're going to lay it down like some hair grease. I hope you're ready.
All right.
All right, first we're gonna start it off easy. We're not gonna be too hard on you. We ain't gonna be too rough. I don't know if you could take it. I know you can't take no Rodney King beatdowns around here. So we're gonna keep it easy. Tell us who Chris Matthew is.
Depends on which Chris Matthews you're talking about. You talking about Chris Matthews when it comes to football or Chris Matthews when it comes to life?
Let's get both.
All right, Chris Matthews when it comes to life, man. First thing in my life is my kids and my family. Just a hard-working young man trying to make sure I put on for my family. Loving, caring father, husband, all that good stuff. When it comes to football, though, I'm a different kind of animal. I'm the ultimate competitor, super cocky. All I want to do is win. That's it.
And I see during some of the hype videos, you ain't scared to take some of the players out if they're not performing to the standards you set for the Marauders and the capabilities you know that they can show you. Is that correct?
That's correct. When I recruit all my players or when players reach out to me about playing for us, I let them know through the door what's expected of them. And most of the time, if you see them at our practice or at our camp, they agree to what was expected of them. And if they're not living up to what they agreed to, I hold them accountable for that. And I don't have a problem with calling another man out, especially if they're not doing what they promised, because if I tell you when you come in you're expecting a certain thing from me, so especially if we've already talked about it, I'm also expecting a certain thing from you. And if you're not giving me what you promised that you will give me, then I'll call you out on it just like I would expect someone to do if the roles were reversed.
Exactly. Just like any job, the boss will call you out if you're not doing your job correctly. So what'd be the difference if you're not doing your job, what I recruited you for, or why you wanted to be on this team? You ain't come on this team just to be a spectator. We ain't recruit you just to be on the bench so you could wear the jersey and live that lavish lifestyle. I remember 3 years ago, back when I first joined you, I could tell from the jump, both of y'all were not on bullshit. It was straight championship. Wanted to be great. All day, every day, y'all did not at all take that thing lightly. Y'all worked hard. Y'all got your recruiting straight. After the next year, you guys won a championship. You set the ground foundation of if you don't show up to practice, you ain't starting, you ain't playing, we'll hold you down. We don't care if you a starter. We don't care if you play the tail end of the bench. You miss too much, you might as well not play, and you might as well give me back my jersey.
That's correct, man. That's how we look at it, man. It's championship or bust. When we go in the season, we don't care about. We're done building. We are where we need to be, and we need to just continue to just get better from where we are. Every year now, we're going to the season with championship or bust. We already set the bar high. We're gonna keep the bar high. Ain't no point in taking those steps back.
And what was your mindset when you were a player? I mean, first time you stepped in the semi-pro world, what was your mindset as a player? Because I feel like it could have been the same, but I don't feel Chris was that mature yet to get that same mindset Chris is now.
Yeah, when I was a player, I came into semi-pro, I believe, 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around there. First team I played for was the Kane County Chaos. They're no longer around, but yeah, that's the first team I played for because they was the closest to my house. I was maybe 4 years removed from college football, so I just, got bored, wanted to play the game again that I love so much, and that's when I found out about semi-pro. When I came in, I was a little hesitant at first because I didn't know what to expect, but after a while, I became me, even when I was a player, high school and college. My high school that I went to, they bred the ultimate competitors, and that's all I wanted to do was compete at a high level. Just come in with a tough mindset. I feel like football is, to me, I mean, it's no direct science to this, but to me, football is 90% mental, man. You can be the best athlete in the world and suck because you're not mentally tough, or you can be mentally tough and not so athletic and be one of the best players out there. So with me, that was a situation. I'm not the most athletic guy. I'm not the biggest, strongest, or fastest, but I always played at a high level because of my intelligence and because of my mindset that I had. I always wanted to compete. I felt like I didn't care who you were. When you stepped in front of me, I was just going to outwork you and just be better than you.
And that's the thing right there. A lot of athletes don't understand right there, because some of them will be like, I know one dude, I believe it was somewhere in the 90s. This dude was number 1 overall pick in the NFL. He was supposed to be the top offensive tackle, and he was called the Hulk. He had the size. He was dominant in college. He had the whole package. Trash as soon as he stepped on that football field for the Packers. He couldn't block worth a damn.
Yep, a lot of it comes to mental toughness, man. These guys talk, they throw you off your game, and if you're not prepared for stuff like that, man, they can get in your head. You get some of these receivers, especially the prima donnas, they're really good, but then once you talk them out of their game, they're so focused on you and going back and forth with you. Now they're out there dropping the pass when they're open, and this game is mental, if you ask me, knowing where you need to be at what time, you know what I mean? That way you don't got to rely on your athleticism. I know where I need to be and when I need to be there. I mentally smart enough to just be in that situation. That's why I feel like when I did play, I played at a high level. Was I one of the greatest? No, not by far. But I definitely was a good starter when I played. So,
And I do know one practice you did knock me good across the middle, because you said any man that come across that middle, that ball ain't in the air, you knock him on his ass. And you knocked me on my ass.
That's the mental thing, though. Like I said, it's if you set the tone with that, now any receiver that comes across the middle, anybody who saw me do that, any receiver that comes across the middle now, what are they focused on? They're more focused on, is Chris going to hit me when I come across this middle, instead of let me go ahead and focus and look this ball in and catch it and score. So like I said, it's just really a mental thing, man. You got to get in your opponent's head. That's all.
And with that building from being a player to starting your own team to becoming an owner to opening up in Bloomington, where the Bloomington Edge used to play, who would you say from 2012 on up was your biggest influencer?
Oh, man, that's such a hard question. But it's so many people. I'm going to start. My brother Tremaine Cheers, obviously. He's pretty much the one that molded me into this semi-pro stuff. He was the owner of the Marauders when I first came over from the Chaos. I learned under his wing and learned so much about this. This stuff didn't just come naturally to me. I had to learn my lessons and make my mistakes, and he was there every step of the way explaining to me, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and, just in general, he was the number one guy. But there was a lot of people who I can give shouts out to that helped me along the way. Lloyd Hatcher, he was the owner of the Kane County Chaos. He gave me my first opportunity in semi-pro. We got Pedro, who was the owner of the MPIF. That was the first person who gave me my first shot at becoming the owner when I started the Midway Marauders indoor football team. So actually, without Pedro, without Lloyd, without Tremaine, none of this would be possible for me, because they all helped pave the way for me to be as successful as I am in this game.
And that's always helpful when you got those supports, you got those people pushing you to be greater, because they see it in you, because you may not see it at that time. But once you push yourself to be that great and you see it coming to fruition, you'll be like, okay, maybe I can handle this. They put me in the right direction. They handed me these opportunities. You got to go ahead and take the risk for yourself, but they're at least opening the door and you putting your foot there to bust it wide open. See what I'm saying?
Definitely. It led me to the water, man. All I can do from there is just continue to, grind and make it happen. Just gotta have that ambition, that drive. It's hard to do, when you got a lot of other stuff going on. Because, like I said, outside of football, I do have a family life. So my girl isn't always fond of me doing this, but I can be doing other things that she wouldn't like. So she prefers me to, do something like this to keep my mind right. This is a hobby to me. It's something I really enjoy doing. So, when I do decide to do something that I like to do, my high school coach told me, do a job big and small, do it well and not at all. So I'm step my foot in this door, and I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it all the way and do it well and the best of my ability.
That's the only way to go. Now, them being your influencers and having that support, would you say they also helped you learn on who and how to recruit?
When it comes to the recruiting thing, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's just a natural gift. It's something that I wanted to do at a collegiate level. I did want to be a recruiter. I never went down that path. Unfortunately, I wish I would have, but I did not. And I honestly think with the recruiting, man, I just think I'm really a good people person. I know how to talk to people. I know how to respect people. I think I'm just one of those people that just naturally attract good people. And with that being said, like, I just use that to go out and I talk to guys. It's never one thing about me that I really take pride in is being real, being honest. I'm not going to sell anybody any dreams. I'm not going to promise anybody something that's not going to be true. I just want to come in, talk to these guys, tell them what to expect. And most of the guys that we recruit, I let them know no matter what, my number one goal with them is just to win ball games now, no matter what it is, even if you just come in and you don't do anything else but run down on kickoff. At the end of the day, this game of football is, it comes down to, it's a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. Got 55 men on the roster. It takes for 55 men to play their roles. Even if you got a third-string quarterback, that third-string quarterback should be helping the first-team defense get ready. Even if that's showing your job for the entire season, if you do that at a high level, man, you're putting the defense in a great situation to win. So I hate when I see guys talk about, oh, you're just a role player. You're just a special team. Man, everybody plays a part in winning championships, and that's why some of these teams aren't successful, because everybody wants to be the alpha. Everybody wants to be one of those first 11, not knowing that if you're not one of those first 11, that doesn't mean you can't play an important role. Prime example, my first year doing indoor football, we had a player, Vontae Lashley. He did not start for us, not one game, but led our team in sacks. You know what I mean? It's just, you come in, you play your role, and when you get in, instead of crying about playing time, just when you step on the field, just do what you're supposed to do to help your team win at the end of the day.
That's how I always visualize it, because I know my first year when I played with the Lake County Venom before they stopped right before I came over with y'all. The coach told me straight out, I think it was week 2 when I was first starting with semipro, and I was like, okay, I need to work on this and that. I will always ask the coach what I need to work on. Is it this working? Is that working? Like, I will always be in my coach's ear. I'm like, I want to know so I could be better at my craft, because at the end of the day, yeah, I'm trying to be a starter. Yeah, I'm trying to be that better role player, but I'm also trying to better myself so I could get myself more opportunities so this team can win. Because it's not about me being selfish. I personally tell everybody, I don't care about playing time. I didn't start with the Marauders. I did not start with y'all. But I never complained like, oh, my ass ain't getting no playing time. I ain't going to come to practice. I ain't going to show up. I ain't going to be ready on game day. That was complete bullshit. Like, I didn't care. I didn't start. I was there. If Mook needed to get out, shoot, I'm in it for 2-3 plays. I performed what I needed to do, and then I'll sit my ass right back on the bench and cheer him on. I didn't care. As long as those wins came, I was like, in this team, you showed me the respect I deserved. You and Tremaine showed me the respect that was expected, and the respect was given back. I was like, I can stay with this team for 5+ years and not care if I started or not, because I knew the people there were great. I loved being with the people. The coaching staff at that time, yeah, but y'all were great. But just the whole community basis on us being great and going after a championship was what I was looking for. I'm looking for a family. I don't care if y'all went 5-5. I don't care if y'all made it and then lost. I'm looking for that community that accepts me, that respects me and my play. If you see I need to work on something, call me out on my bullshit. If I'm disrespecting you, call me out. Just treat me as one of your own, and I will be happy. I'm not wanted to start diva like you and Tremaine said when old boy was the offensive coordinator. I forgot his name, but old boy was the offensive coordinator, and I was, doing good in practice. You were like, why ain't he a starter? Why ain't he getting a rotation? I never said a word. I didn't care. I was just like, that's his decision. Whether I start or not, it's on him. Because at the end of the day, you can say something, Trey can say something, but it's up to that coach to actually do it. So I'm just going to sit here and play my part. I know what I'm doing right. And at the end of the day, my time will come. Film don't lie. That's the one thing. Film never lies.
Yep, definitely right.
And how would you say that you grew to become an owner on top of what you say with your recruit? How'd you become an owner, a GM, like what you saw in certain people, why you wouldn't go after that certain person, even though you knew he had the capabilities, but he just was not right for the team in general?
Right. Yeah. When it comes to the ownership, like I said, I got into that game because Pedro blessed the owner of the NPIF, blessed me with the opportunity to just become an owner and trusted me that I was going to come in and I was going to be in the team that represented his league in the correct way. Learning how to do this stuff, I learned that from Shemaine. Shemaine taught me the game of semi-pro. He was with me every step of the way. You know, if I had a question, I knew I could pick up the phone anytime and call him and ask advice. And he had never steered me wrong. Also, when it comes to it, like I said, I'm just outside of football. And another thing people don't know about me, I am a highly educated individual. 2 college degrees. A lot of stuff that people don't know about me that I really don't, put out there like that. But business aspects of this football stuff and everything, I'm really good at it because I go hard at it. Plus, I just have the intelligence to back it up as well. To be good at the recruiting and stuff, it's just a matter of, just knowing what you want, what you're looking for. You can't just accept anybody. At first, you got to pick through. You're going to make your mistakes. You're going to bring some people in that aren't going to be good for your team, some cancers. And eventually, you just move on from guys like that. But I've learned the best route to go is the college route. You get guys out of college, they still like to practice. They're respectful. They're already smart. They already know what most of the stuff that's going on. Those are the guys you want to build your program around because these guys have already been molded to have the kind of mindset that I'm looking for as an owner or as a coach. When you get guys out of semi-pro, you got to be careful and choose the kind of guys you want because everybody doesn't fit your mold. You get a lot of prima donnas. You get a lot of people that's stuck in their ways, a lot of people who, been on teams before that let them do what they wanted to do, and they think they're going to bring that over to your team. And I don't care how talented you are, you know what I mean? And every coach says this, I don't care how talented you are, we can play without you. But most teams aren't really in that situation. They really do need those guys. And that's why when we first came in, we made the playoffs every year we were in existence, but we were never upper echelon as we are now. We were always just a decent team until we picked through who was and was not good for us. And once we were able to do that and we became a dominant team, now I'm not going to say recruiting is easy because it's not. You also have to recruit against other people, especially when you're on top. Most people don't want to run to your team when you're on top because they want to beat you. I've had several recruits this offseason tell me they're not going to play for us just because we beat them and they want to beat us now. So actually being on top doesn't make recruiting any easier either. But you just talk to these guys, tell them what you bring to the table, tell them what you got to offer. And what we got to offer is a winning culture, a family culture, a culture who's people who aren't going to finesse you and tell you one thing and it's really another. Especially me, I'm going to be straightforward and straight honest with you. If I want you, you're going to know I want you. If I don't want you, I'm going to tell you I don't want you. You know what I mean? I'm just not that kind of bullshitting kind of guy because once you start telling a lie, you got to keep up with that lie. And I can't keep up with 55 lies. So, you know what I mean? I'd rather just be upfront and that way I just tell these people what it is. So, that's what it comes down to, man, and that's what makes me feel like, I'm one of the best recruiters around because I don't BS these guys. I tell them what it is. I tell them what to expect. They come in, if they do everything and live up to the hype or live up to what I expected them to be, then I'll do my part and I'll get them on the field or I'll do everything that I expect or they expect of me.
And you say that helped you through the years when you first started that Indoor Marauders team. It helped you learn from year to year. All right, these people I could roll with. They're my ride or die. They're going to be grounded. I know they're coming back next year because they know this team is what's up. Some people are like, all right, I know they just riding the bus. They knew it was up. They knew we were going to win the championship. That's all it was going to be, and you just have to weed them out like that. And I know it's hard sometimes calling these people because you don't know how they may react. Like they may be different on the football field than they are outside. Like a lot of people think people are hella mean on the outside because on the football field they're mean, when really they the nicest people you ever met. It's just a different culture on the football field than it is off the football field.
Yeah, that's a fact, and that's a lot of too. It's another reason why I lose out on recruits. Not lose out on them, should I say, but a lot of people don't initially look at us until they get to know me. I can't say this about our outdoor team. Having an indoor team really helped us out with recruiting for outdoor. The reason I say that is the indoor team didn't discriminate. You can play for any team in the Midwest and play on my indoor team, and it was just football in the winter time, and nobody else was doing anything, so people started coming out just to see what it was about. But I had a lot of guys that actually committed to our team. I'm going to give you an example. One of our best players, Mike Miller. We recruited him. He lives in Milwaukee. He didn't know me outside of me talking crap on Facebook because obviously, like I said, I'm the ultimate competitor. So a lot of these guys that don't know me as a person don't like me because they feel like I run my mouth a lot. But at the same time, if you actually sat down and got to know me, people would tell you, like, man, that's a cool-ass dude. He'll give you the shirt off his back, and he really is real and 100. That's what Mike Miller told me before he became a Marauder. Everybody was like, how'd you get Mike Miller? You got to be paying Mike Miller. How'd you do this? Nah, Mike Miller just went to Nationals with us and played with me indoor and got around me and seen that not only does he want to win, but I want to win just as much as he do. And I'm actually a really good guy. You know what I mean? So, and that's how we get our players. Most of the players we get, you get your Denzel Whitaker. Didn't know me from a can of paint. Couldn't stand me. But when he played for me, like, man, you one of the realest dudes out here. You know what I mean? There's so many players on our team that's like that. They don't like me or Tremaine until they get to know us. And then they like, hey, some dudes are actually pretty cool. And most of the time, these dudes get to know us through indoor because that's the only and first time that they're around us. And then they like, man, these dudes are actually pretty good guys. So I know that my attitude, when you're not on my team, I don't know if I can curse on this show. Hopefully you can block it out. If not,
You could go ahead and curse. I curse all the time. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I got a fuck you attitude if you're not with us, especially if you're in our way. So if you play for another team, you in our way. Our ultimate goal is the championship, and you a stepping stone in the way. So if you're not with us, my mindset is fuck you. So that's how it's going to be into the off season. If you see me in the streets, man, it's how you doing, bro? What's up? How are you? I'll give you an example. Quarterback Andre Locke for the Shot City Ducks. One of my main homies. He's like a brother to me. You know what I mean? He's my indoor quarterback. I love that guy to death. There's nothing I wouldn't do for that guy. But during the semi-pro season, when he's playing for the Ducks in the Ducks uniform, now Dre knows fuck him, and I know it's fuck me out of his mouth. But outside of that, when the game is over, and outside of those whistles, I got nothing but love for my little bro. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, and that's how I am. So I know that's how a lot of recruits are scared away by me, because I guess I could be intimidating when it comes to, that dude runs his mouth a lot. He's cocky. He thinks he's a shit. Yeah, but I'm supposed to think like that because I am an ultimate competitor, and I know I put in the work to feel like that.
Indeed you have, because I know when I looked up your team, because I was looking for another team, and your team was almost an hour and a half from my house, because I was damn near coming from Wisconsin myself. I was on the Midwest Shit Talking page, and I saw you, and I was just like, there's something about him. I feel like he ain't really on it. I'm going to go check out the team. It was something, I don't know. It was something about your attitude towards it was just something. At the end of the day, I came out to show the team, damn it. But out of your years of being in semi-pro, since you talked about Mike Miller and Denzel Whitaker, who would you say is the top 10 players in semi-pro?
That's tough. If we're talking a pure talent perspective, and not based on just statistics, if we're talking straight talent, that's so hard.
Any position, any side.
Any position. I'll tell you this was what I do for you. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to give you my top maybe 2 to 3 at every position. And then I don't know if however you want to put in your top 10. I'm going to say in Chicago, if we're going to go top quarterback, in no particular order, I'm going to go Andre Locke and Alex Alcorn. Those two dudes go down Chicago. I don't think any quarterbacks in this city or in the Midwest are anywhere close to their level. When we go running backs, the GOAT, Jason Kelly, man, one of the best running backs ever to play this game. Tevin Allen is also a Marauder. He's right up under Jay Kelly. He's next in line to take over and continue to lead us for years to championships. That guy's a talent, and when he does come in and break down, it's going to be ugly. You also have a runner that used to play for the Lincoln Way Patriots, Brian Pascasio. That dude is a monster. At first, I didn't think he was that good because I used to thought he was a scat back. I'm not a fan of scat backs. I like power backs. But that dude is definitely a power back, and he is a baller. We talk about receivers. Denzel Whitaker, to me, is number one. I like Sheldon Little. Sheldon Little is also a dog. Chulo Williams, Ian Gaines. I'm just naming Marauders, but when we go to other teams, Boobie Miles, who is the GOAT at this, or his name's Brian Miles. He's the GOAT. I know I'm giving you more than 10 players, man. I'm just shouting out to all these guys who are really putting this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, though I think, and I said on your podcast, that he gonna hate it if he hears this. Though I think Q-Baby is a big crybaby. As when it comes to talent, that dude is second to none. That dude is a monster on the field. Anything wide receivers, I like Chris Muhammad. I like Anthony Hughes. Man, I like Andrew Ward. Lexus Jackson. I can't forget about him. That dude is an animal. If I'm leaving anybody else out, I apologize, but those are some of the guys that receivers, offensive lineman. Damon Waddy is an animal. To me, Alex King is a dog too, but Eddie King is the best offensive lineman in the city. I had the opportunity to go up against him, and he's the one lineman that made me want to think about stopping playing football. That dude used the whole game. I'm not going to lie to you. That dude is a monster. Who else? Kyle Powell, several guys like that. Defensive line, Mike Miller, another guy who was a rookie last year, came in and had 17 sacks, and he's going to destroy semi-pro as long as he decides to stay playing semi-pro, is Maurice Daniels. That dude, he played for New Mexico State and led their team in sacks. He came to us, played for us, and had 17 sacks as a rookie. The dude is an animal and an exceptional athlete. It's one of my guys I recruited right out of college. Obviously, Josh Augusta. Josh Augusta played for the New England Patriots. He's now a Marauder. He's not in the NFL anymore due to injuries, which is very unfortunate. I really hope he gets the opportunity to get back there, but because of injuries in the NFL, he was cut from the Patriots and from the Kansas City Chiefs. But now he's playing with us, and he is unblockable. You got a lot of other defensive linemen. You got Willie Clay. You got let me see who else. I don't know. It's a lot of good defensive linemen in the league, but that's just some to say the least. You got linebackers. I'm going to put LaDevin Smith at the top of that list, man. This dude, my first opportunity to see him play was last season. He came in as a rookie as well, and he also was playing for me this year in indoor. That dude is second to none, and to me, one of the best linebacker in this city. Also, Gary Young. Gary Young played for me indoor. He's been playing for a while. He's an animal, too. You got Tyrell Webster, Robert Gregory, who played for Purdue. Those dudes are monsters. Man, semi-pro has a lot of good athletes now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. And last position, but not least, defensive backs. Me personally, and just my opinion, like they say, everybody's got an opinion. Corey Dalton is the best defensive back in the Midwest, hands down. The dude is small, but man, you would think he was 6'2", 220, running the 4.340. The dude is an animal, man. Deion Denton, he's an animal. Alex Fuller. You got guys like Rob Riley. You got who else? In the Midwest, you got what's the dude that played for the Hitmen? Light skinned cat, I forgot his name, but man, he a safety. He comes down hitting everything moving. Keith Lewis, one of the best out here. Darius Jones. Just got so many guys, man. Chris Dalton, our defense would be nothing without Chris Dalton, man, in that middle at free safety. You got, obviously, Tim Smith. Tim Smith came in as a rookie last year, had 9 interceptions, ran 7 back for touchdowns. He was actually, when we just did our semi-pros top 50 list, he actually came in at number 1 on the list. The dude was a monster. To have 9 interceptions, 7 returns for touchdowns, and give up no touchdowns playing corner, that's a hell of a season for a rookie. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. If I miss some guys, I apologize. Denzel McDaniel, he's an animal. It's just so many guys out here, man. I can't go down the list and pick 10 out of that, but I know some of the guys I think would definitely be in that top 10.
All right, this is going to be a random one, but here's a question for you after all those shout-outs. Would you rather play linebacker knowing that you'll never sack the quarterback, but you'll always lead the league in tackles? Or would you rather play D-end, leading the league in sacks, but when you go up against an A1 tackle, you'll never get a tackle or sack?
It's a catch-22 though, because if I'm going up against, so that's pretty much saying all my sacks are coming in garbage games. Because you said if I go up against an elite tackle, then I don't get any sacks, but I'm leading the league in sacks. I'm trying to see how that will work out.
Anybody can get injured at any time. You know, football is unpredictable.
True. Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a sack is a more important statistic than a tackle is. Anybody can make a tackle. If I don't get the tackle, I can rely on 10 other guys on my team to get the tackle. But if I can consistently lead a league in sacks, that means I'm one of the most valuable players in the league, and that means I'm a very important piece to the puzzle for my team. So I'm pretty sure if I'm leading the league in sacks, that's all my team is asking me to go out there and do is get sacks. I don't think they're going to cry and complain about me not getting tackles if I'm leading the league in sacks. So I'd rather lead the league in sacks if it was me. Let one of my linebackers lead the league in tackles.
Makes perfect sense, but why start a team? Why did you start a team in the first place?
I started my team, honestly, my indoor team legit only started to get our developmental guys extra work in the off season to get them ready for our outdoor season. One thing led to another. Teams got to talking crap, saying how weak we were going to be, this and that and this. And like I said, I'm an ultimate competitor. So that's when my recruiting skills kicked in. I went out and instead of coming in and having a team full of developmental players, I went out and got all of the best players that this city has to offer. Came in year one and won a championship. I actually, when we went to our first owners meeting, when I was, and this shows my cockiness a little bit, but this also shows my confidence and competitiveness. The year before I got my team, the Illinois Renegades won the championship in our league. We went to our first owners meeting, and I legit, in front of every team at that table, asked if I can play the Renegades the first game of the season. Everybody was looking at me like, man, is this dude crazy? You a first-year owner. You ain't even recruited a player yet, and you asked him to play the Renegades the first year of the season. They defend the champion. I'm like, man, I know what I'm doing. Like I said, the game is 90% mental. You go out there, and in our first game of the season, after I put together the team that I put together, we ended up beating the Renegades by about 40 points. Imagine the message that sent to the rest of the league. This first-year team came in and beat our defending champions by 40. Now, when we went to every game outside of that, we already went in with a competitive and mental edge because every team was scared to play us because they're like, what does this team have if they just beat our champions by 40? So, it had to set the tone early. So, I mean, this game is 90% mental. So that's why I started the team. I really started the team to develop players, but one thing led to another, and we became one of the best indoor teams in this country.
And that's what it's all about, development every year. The Patriots didn't win 6 Super Bowls just being average. They knew what they were doing. Granted, if that quarterback would have never got hurt, I don't know when Tom Brady would have started in 01,
yeah.
But
I'm glad he did because I'm a big Patriots fan, so I'm glad he got hurt, man.
How about them Patriots now? What you feeling?
Man, I hope we get it back because I'm a Patriots fan because I'm a Belichick fan and I'm a Tom Brady fan. So, as long as Belichick's still there, I'll root for the Patriots. When he leaves, I'll have to find me another team to bandwagon. But I've been a Patriots fan since the early 2000s, so since Brady's been there. So, right now I got to keep rooting for Brady. So, I'm not a Tampa Bay fan, but I'm going to hope Brady does well in Tampa Bay. I'm going to continue to be a Patriots fan, even though I feel like we're going to take our lumps this year. But I can't just hop off the bandwagon as long as Belichick's there.
They're only projected to win 6.7 games. I was like, 6? Oof, that's a hell of a drop. I'm like, they going to need a blessing and a prayer in between that.
Tell you.
But the schedule don't look that hard. I mean, I saw the Cowboys schedule, and I was just looking at it like, where are they going to win a game? Yeah. Man, I was like, maybe the Redskins. Maybe. You play them twice. So I could give you maybe 1.5. But other than that, I'm not. You're not beating nobody else. It's not like you play the Bears. Sorry, I'm a Bears fan, but I like being realistic too. Now, the Bears, I'm only guessing about 5 games if Trubisky is going to stay in that game.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't really care for the Bears like that.
Well, I ain't gonna hold you no more often. This about that time to mosey on down. I appreciate you coming on my show. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come talk to a former player. I appreciate you, brother.
Most definitely, man. Anytime. We're always open and available, willing to talk.
All right,
Like,
Nick.
if I can now on your podcast, if y'all out there, y'all listening, man, go check out the Midway Marauders. One of the best teams in this nation. We're ranked in the nation. We won a national championship a couple years ago. Been to back-to-back championships. Even though we lost by 1 point last year, it hurt my soul. But we coming back. We're gonna be better than ever this year. Go check us out on Facebook at M3 Midway Marauders. Go like our fan page. Go like everything, man. Follow us. You won't be disappointed. We consistently update, let you know who we sign, put up highlights, all type of stuff, man. And continue to listen to this podcast, man. This guy's got a great thing going on.
And I'll let you know right now that I don't care what team you may be playing for. I don't care if you from Albuquerque, New Mexico, all the way to the sandy beaches of California, all the way to the cold, cold souls of New York. The Midway Marauders are that team. They will be always that team in my heart, and they will always say, fuck your team if you against them. Because if you're not with us, you against us. And I will forever, Chris, be trying to set up a game between the team out here in Arizona that I'm playing for. You see what I'm saying? But I know champions don't like to travel like that. So I'm trying to convince them to come to Chicago because we got a couple of Chicago cats that know who you is. Will Farmer, who used to play for the Lincoln Way Patriots, a receiver, he's been headhunting your ass for a minute. He's been wanting to play. And I know J.J. Johnson, he moved back to Chicago, and I've been telling him, I'm like, shit, go ahead and check out the team real quick, bro. He's a defensive tackle. He blew it up in Arizona. He led the league in sacks, so.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. I know he been working. He went down 20 pounds and got a little bit faster out here. I'm like, oh, you in trouble now. So, yeah, I worked out with that kid. That kid goes hard every chance he get. Need to work on his conditioning, though. He's good for like 3 plays. I'm like, I'm going to need more than 3 plays out of you, son.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate you. I'm going to have Ian on here this Friday talking about light skin versus dark skin and the problematics going on in the world. So go ahead and listen to that on Friday. I'll have it uploaded by Saturday.
Most definitely, man. All right, man. Good talking to you.
You as well. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well.
Now that was a good day. Even though I'm sweating like anything, any other, I'm sweating more than a runaway slave. It don't matter. That was a good day. You make your day how you make each day of your life. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. Whether that's mentally, you may be battling something internally. Seek some help. Ask for it. I don't like being around the bush, just like Chris said. He's not beating around the bush. I know it's hard. Having something mental eating away at you is hard. But it's also hard to voice it out. It's hard to do it by yourself. It's hard to ask for help. But please ask for help. I want you here as much as your mom wants you here, your dad wants you here, your sisters, family, cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. I love you just as much. God loves every one of his children. Whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. God loves every one of his children, and I try to match that love every day. I got to change it around for some people because, personalities change and everything, But I want to show you love every time you listen to this podcast. I want to stretch your greatness out into the world. I want you to be great. I want you to be acceptable of yourself and feel so comfortable in yourself. You don't care what you do. You care what you do, but you don't care what you do where you're thinking about the other person on, oh, I don't want to upset them. Oh, I don't want them to say something negative about me. A lot of people, a lot of athletes, a lot of stars have that mentality. It's not about us. Yes, you're going to lose some fans regardless what you do. So you might as well be yourself and keep the loyal ones. You got to understand people's mindset. Some people jump on the bandwagon as long as you're hot, and then all of a sudden, boop, they thrown to the other side. They don't care about you anymore. They only speak negative. It's about those people that are with you from the bottom up, and if you fall again, they're going to be like, we got you this time, and bring you right back up to where you were. Those are the friends you want. Those are the people that care about you, and those are the people that'll never bullshit you. Keep them in your life. Talk to those people if you're having trouble. This has been Lil Snoopy on the track 1, 2. I had to talk. I had to say what was on my mind. And always remember, love, peace, and hair grease. I'll see you on Friday.
Test your might. Test your might.